In this tutorial, I'll be providing model description in the PL view of the numerical model. I will use three examples. The first will mainly consist of a simple square slab with an opening and a clamped edge. The second example will consist of a square slab with supporting elements including a wall support, column, and soil support patch and wall assembly. The third example will consist of loading elements which are wall load, column load, load patch, and load assembly. I will open the first B model in the PL view to view the boundary element model. You can do this by clicking on the BE model button and it will automatically open up in the PL view. It will prompt me to say I'm going to say no. And first of all, toggle on the grid. And I'll briefly explain the interface of the PL view. At the bottom we have the model summary toolbar, showing us all the relevant data concerning this model. At the top, we have three toolbars: the main toolbar, the view toolbar, and the information toolbar. In the main toolbar, there is the usual set of functions such as save and print, etc. The view toolbar is the most important toolbar, which has the usual features of the zoom, zoom extends, grid, show axes, etc. However, there are a set of tools unique to the PL view. The first is to show and hide nodes, which when toggled on show red dots equally spaced apart. So I'm going to toggle on the nodes here. And if you toggle on show and hide extreme points, you'll find that there are nodes between each point and at the points. The number of nodes increases with the number of boundary elements and thus the number of divisions. The show hide element supports and loads are by default toggled on. I will only toggle on and off the show and hide elements since we don't have any supporting elements or loading elements. Now, if you notice the difference that if I toggle off the loading the elements, the boundary of the slab disappears. Now if I had columns, if I toggled off supports, the columns would disappear, and if I had loads, the loads would disappear. But in this case we don't have either, so I'm gonna toggle back on show and hide elements. These are called the boundary element terminologies. You can also toggle on to show the number of nodes and points over here. This can be helpful along with show hide nodes and points. Show hide element numbers can be clearly identified along with show hide element direction. But before I do that, I'm going to toggle off the points and the element numbers. And I'm going to toggle on show hide element numbers and the show element direction. The show hide element normal is right next to it. Shows the normal direction on each element. BCs or boundary condition display the boundary condition, so I'm going to toggle it on, and I'm going to toggle on the PC's legend just so that we have an idea what the symbols represent. The second example, I have a wall support, a column, soil support patch, and wall assembly. Open it up in the PL view. Now, the first thing we notice is that the divisions shown in the different types of supports. It displays the stiffness of the supports, basically. Now, I can toggle on the supports. And in this case, if I zoom in, you'll notice that it shows the values of Kx, Ky, and the K3 of the supporting element. Now, I didn't discuss the last two buttons over here. The last two buttons, the in and the check button, are very useful features in the PL view. The in stands for input or to show the input tables. Click on it to open the tables. Now, in numerical terms, it is considered as the input file of the program, where the engineer can adjust anything as he pleases in literally everything from the general info, load cases, supports, boundary conditions, and to adding external points. The general info tab is nothing new. It's a combination of the model info and the slab properties in the PLGen. What concerns us at this stage is the boundary conditions tab, so I'm going to click on it. The line number is the element number. Toggle it on if it's not on. In this case, I'm going to just move this table to the side. Now, as you notice that elements number 5 to 8 are clamped. So that means that there are from 5 to 8 in the table here. So for example, I'm going to choose line 5, which stands for element number 5. Now, I'm going to change this, for example, to free for all the PC nodes. So I'm gonna put in free, then simply tab again, and free, and simply close the table. And the node has changed for those points to free. This feature is very useful as it allows you to easily distinguish certain nodes without the hassle of going back and forth between programs, whilst allowing engineers to use this feature in their practical work. The third example, I have a wall load, a column load, load patch, and a load assembly. Toggle on the loads button at the top to display the loads or the stress on the objects. Now, as you notice that the loads appear on each, but since I didn't enter any values for these individual objects in the PLGen, then obviously the loads that are displayed all equal to 0. And this concludes our tutorial.